Hey, stop buying protein powder. I know that might sound shocking coming from a doctor, but after 30 years of working with patients in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, I can tell you with absolute confidence that the supplement industry has been steering you in the wrong direction, and your muscles are paying the price. Today I'm going to show you the most powerful natural foods on the planet for stopping muscle loss dead in its tracks. And one of them, number one on our list, is so ordinary, so cheap, so easy to find that when I tell you what it is, you're going to be genuinely stunned that no one told you sooner. Now, before I go any further, I want to share something that should alarm every single person watching this. A landmark study published by the New England Journal of Medicine found that adults over the age of 65 lose between 1 and 2% of their muscle mass every single year if they don't actively fight back. But here's the part that keeps me up at night. After the age of 75, your body loses up to 35% of its ability to absorb and use dietary protein efficiently. That means even if you're eating well, your muscles may be starving. This condition has a name, sarcopenia, which simply means the gradual age-related loss of muscle tissue. And if left unchecked, it leads to falls, fractures, loss of independence, and a dramatically shortened life. But the incredible news is that the right natural foods can override this process, even in your 80s. Before we dive into this countdown, I want to ask you something personal. Leave a comment below telling me your age and whether you've noticed any muscle weakness, fatigue, or difficulty doing things that used to be easy for you. I read every single comment personally, and your answers help me create content that speaks directly to what you're going through. Now let's get into it. We're counting down from 5 to 1, ranked from powerful to absolutely extraordinary. Coming in at number 5, and this one surprises almost everyone the first time they hear it. We're talking about sardines. Now, I know what you're thinking, but hear me out, because the science behind this tiny fish is nothing short of remarkable. Researchers at Tufts University, which runs one of the most respected aging and nutrition programs in the world, found that regular consumption of fatty, cold water fish was associated with a 33% reduction in the rate of muscle loss in adults over 65 compared to those who rarely ate fish. 33%. That is not a small number. That is the difference between walking confidently into your 80s and struggling to get out of a chair. Here is why sardines work so extraordinarily well for aging bodies specifically. First, they are loaded with a combination of high-quality complete protein and omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA. Now, what these omega-3s do is something most people don't realize. They directly combat what scientists call anabolic resistance. Think of anabolic resistance like a rusty lock on a door. As we age, the door to muscle building gets harder and harder to open. Omega-3 fatty acids act like a lubricant for that lock, actually restoring your muscle's ability to respond to protein. A study from the University of Washington confirmed that omega-3 supplementation improved muscle protein synthesis, which just means the process of building new muscle by up to 50% in older adults. But sardines have something even protein powders and fish oil capsules don't have together. They contain calcium from the soft edible bones, vitamin D and B12, all of which are cofactors for muscle health that most seniors are dangerously deficient in. Practical tip, aim for 1 can of sardines in olive oil 2 to 3 times per week. Eat them on whole grain crackers, mix them into a salad, or add them to scrambled eggs. For a powerful synergy effect, squeeze fresh lemon juice over them. The vitamin C dramatically increases the bioavailability of the iron and enhances protein absorption. Scientific references are linked in the description below. Moving to number 4, and this one is a staple of the Mediterranean kitchen that most people think of as just a side dish, but it is actually one of the most anabolic, anti-inflammatory, muscle-protecting foods that exists in nature. I'm talking about edamame, young green soybeans. Now I want to tell you about Margaret, a 71-year-old retired school teacher from Scottsdale, Arizona, who came to me after her physical therapist told her she had the grip strength of someone 20 years older. She was embarrassed and frightened. We didn't put her on supplements. We changed what she ate. Within 4 months of adding edamame and a few other foods I'll mention today, her grip strength had improved by 28%, and she was back to tending her garden every morning. That is the power of food as medicine. Edamame is one of the only plant-based foods that contains all 9 essential amino acids, meaning it is a complete protein, something rare in the plant kingdom. 1 cup of edamame delivers 18 grams of protein along with something called isoflavones, which are natural plant compounds that research from the Journal of Nutrition has shown can directly stimulate muscle fiber repair and reduce the chronic low-grade inflammation that accelerates muscle loss in aging tissue. After 65, inflammation in your muscle cells essentially acts like a slow fire, quietly destroying tissue from the inside. Edamame helps put that fire out. For preparation, buy frozen edamame. It's just as nutritious as fresh and far more convenient. Steam or boil them for 5 minutes, add a pinch of sea salt, and eat them as a snack between meals. Timing matters here. Consuming edamame about 60 to 90 minutes before any physical activity, even a walk, primes your muscles for what scientists call a muscle protein synthesis window. Pair it with a small handful of walnuts for the omega-3 synergy, and you've created one of the most muscle-friendly snacks imaginable. Now we're at number 3, and I want to pause here for just a moment. If this information is helping you or someone you love, please take 2 seconds right now to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. I put out content like this every single week, and your support is what allows me to keep doing it. Now, more than 4 million people follow this channel because they know that what we share here is grounded in real science and real results, and number 3 is absolutely no exception. Number 3 is something I call the forgotten superfood, and it is Greek yogurt, specifically the plain full-fat variety. Now, here's where I'll let you in on something the low-fat diet craze of the 1980s got very, very wrong. A study from McMaster University in Canada, one of the world's leading centers for muscle research, found that full-fat dairy protein, particularly the casein and whey proteins, found naturally in Greek yogurt, outperformed many commercial protein powders in stimulating overnight muscle repair in adults over 60. Why overnight? Because while you sleep, your body releases growth hormone and goes into its primary muscle repair cycle. What you eat in the evening directly feeds that process. For aging bodies, Greek yogurt has a particular advantage because of something called slow digesting protein. The casein in Greek yogurt releases amino acids, which are the building blocks of muscle, slowly over 6 to 8 hours. Think of it like a controlled release medication, except it's completely natural and costs about $2 at any grocery store. One study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who consumed casein protein before bed preserved 22% more muscle mass over a 12-week period than those who did not. 1 cup of full-fat Greek yogurt contains roughly 17 to 20 grams of protein and significant amounts of calcium, potassium, and live probiotic cultures that improve gut health. And here's why that matters, because a healthier gut means better absorption of every other nutrient you consume. Pair your evening Greek yogurt with a small drizzle of raw honey and a few tart cherries for an anti-inflammatory synergy that also improves your sleep quality, which is itself a major driver of muscle preservation. We are now down to the final 2, and I promised you early on that what's coming at number 1 is going to genuinely surprise you. But first, number 2, and this one I want you to pay very close attention to because it is chronically underestimated, and it may be the single most important dietary shift a person over 70 can make. I'm talking about eggs specifically, whole eggs with the yolk fully intact. I have a patient, his name is Robert, 78 years old, a retired engineer from Columbus, Ohio. When Robert came to see me 2 years ago, he told me he had been eating egg whites only for decades because he was afraid of cholesterol. He was thin, fatigued, and had lost nearly 14 pounds of muscle in the previous 3 years. Within 6 months of reintroducing whole eggs into his daily breakfast, he had regained 9 pounds of lean muscle. His energy had transformed, and his doctor reduced one of his blood pressure medications. Robert's story is not unusual. I see versions of it constantly. Here is the science. A groundbreaking study from the University of Illinois found that men and women over 65 who ate whole eggs after resistance exercise built nearly 40% more muscle protein than those who ate an equivalent amount of protein from egg whites alone. 40% more from the same amount of protein. The yolk contains something the white does not, a compound called phospholipids, along with leucine, which is the most anabolic amino acid known to science, and fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K2 that are essential for muscle cell membrane health. The fat in the yolk also triggers something called the cephalic phase response, which simply means it signals your body to absorb and use everything more efficiently. After 70, your body's ability to extract leucine from food decreases significantly, and leucine is the ignition key for muscle protein synthesis. Eggs are one of the most leucine-dense foods in existence. Aim for 2 to 3 whole eggs daily, cooked in a light drizzle of coconut oil or butter, and consume them within 30 minutes of any form of exercise or movement. Pair with avocado for an extraordinary healthy fat synergy that enhances the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins by up to 400% according to research from Ohio State University. And now, number 1, the most powerful, most overlooked, most universally available muscle-saving food on earth. Are you ready? It is cottage cheese. Plain, low-sodium, full-fat cottage cheese. I told you it would surprise you. While the world was busy buying protein shakes with unpronounceable ingredients, this humble, centuries-old food was quietly sitting in the dairy aisle waiting to be rediscovered. Here is why cottage cheese stands above everything else on this list. It contains the highest natural concentration of casein protein of any whole food, meaning it delivers a sustained, slow-release amino acid supply to your muscles for up to 8 hours. 1 cup of cottage cheese provides 25 grams of complete protein with all essential amino acids, including the highest leucine content of virtually any dairy product. Research from Maastricht University in the Netherlands showed that older adults who consumed 40 grams of casein protein, the equivalent of roughly 1.5 cups of cottage cheese before sleep, lost 31% less muscle over a 6-month period than a control group, 31% while they slept. But it gets more remarkable. Cottage cheese is also rich in tryptophan, which the body converts to serotonin and then to melatonin, improving your sleep depth and duration, which directly feeds the body's muscle repair cycle. It contains selenium, a trace mineral that protects muscle mitochondria, which are the energy factories inside every muscle cell, from oxidative damage. After age 65, mitochondrial efficiency can decline by up to 40%. Selenium actively helps reverse this.
Think of cottage cheese as the night shift worker for your muscles. While you rest, it is quietly delivering materials, repairing fibers, and rebuilding what time has tried to take away. For preparation, eat 1 cup 30 to 45 minutes before bed. Add sliced banana or a teaspoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon improves insulin sensitivity, which helps drive amino acids directly into muscle tissue, rather than being stored as fat. You can also blend cottage cheese into smoothies, pancake batter, or sauces. The protein content is completely preserved through cooking.
I want to leave you with something important before we close. I have been a physician for over 3 decades, and the thing that breaks my heart most is not disease. It is the unnecessary loss of independence. I see men and women in their 70s and 80s who have given up on their bodies, who believe that weakness and frailty are simply what getting older looks like. They are wrong. Muscle is not a luxury. It is your armor against falls, against hospitalization, against the gradual shrinking of your world. It is what allows you to pick up your grandchildren, to walk through a park, to live on your own terms. And the extraordinary truth is that it is never too late. Research has shown meaningful muscle gain in adults well into their 90s when given the right nutritional support. The foods I shared with you today are not complicated. They are not expensive. They are simply waiting for you to choose them. If you're not subscribed yet, please do that right now. Click that button and ring the bell so you never miss a video like this one. And I want to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 5 foods are you going to get first? Has anyone ever talked to you about sarcopenia before today? I read every single comment in your story might just inspire someone else to take their health back too. I'll see you in the next one.